All those yobbos littering the floor of Parliament House try to gouge every last cent out of anyone in this country who show the slightest degree of enterprise, skill or nous. Now they tend to forget they're actually working for us, not the other way around. And they try to run this country when 75% of them aren't mentally equipped to run a towel concession in a country dunny. If they want me to pay their wages, when I wouldn't give my job sweeping floors, then they can send an army of writ-waving sheriffs around day and night to try and drag it out of me.
G'day mates, and welcome to Comic Book Movie Oblivion. Come and have a deco at the podcast about feature films based on comic books and comic strips that people have stopped yarning about. We're your hosts. I'm Jordo. And sitting across from me, as always, is my mate Kumar. G'day, Kumar.
Hello.
It's Australia Day.
It is. This is our Australia Day special. This marks 1 year since I've had any beer.
Yeah.
I gave up beer because of this podcast.
Because of
after the Barry McKenzie episodes, I was like, I'm never gonna have a beer again, and I have stuck by that for a year. I haven't missed it. I've had lots of other drinks. I still drink, but it needs to be purple or pink with the umbrella in it for the most part.
You're a girl drink drunk.
I am a girl drink drunk.
Well, I've just never liked the taste of alcohol.
Oh, come on, Ray. What about a chocolate choo-choo? It's a girl drink. Tastes like candy. Don't disappoint me, Ray.
Okay, sure, Russ, I'll have a chocolate choo-choo.
Great. I hate a drink alone.
Yes, so, and we didn't do any Canada special this year, so this is, and everybody thought we were going to do Ginger Megs. No, I said we're doing Airhawk.
Airhawk, or do you mean Air Horse? Well, we'll get into why that should be called that.
Yeah, this movie it's 90 minutes, 85 minutes. I would say 1/3 of that is
on horseback
shots of livestock. 1/3 is the brother denying that he's done anything wrong, and the other third is fisticuffs.
Yep.
But we'll get to all that. We have a little bit of business first. We got a letter from John Bergen. I'm going to read this. About our I, Frankenstein episode.
Yeah, so cast your mind back to that, when we had a spirited discussion about why you might base your film on a comic, or why you might have a comic published, or at least printed, to spruik your movie or get your screenplay some attention.
Yeah.
We heard from John, and it's fantastic. So.
Yes, so I did mention that episode that this was produced by Lakeshore.
Yes.
And John he's the head art director at Lakeshore Records. I didn't realize he was there at the time, but then I got this email from him. He said, just sending a note to say I thoroughly enjoyed your and Jordan's I, Frankenstein episode. Hilarious. I was at Lakeshore when it was being made. You guys were spot on with guessing how it became a comic and then disappeared.
Amazing.
The producers at Lakeshore Entertainment liked seeing projects developed as comics because it helped with pitching to investors, actors, and execs. We don't usually talk about the actors and stuff. We always talk about the executives being the dum-dums that need to see pictures. My comic Wednesday came out for the same reason at the same time. Wednesday was in the running to be Lakeshore's next film production back then, alongside I, Frankenstein. Wow. Wednesday dropped out of the running when Dwayne Johnson said nah to taking on the lead role.
Dwayne Johnson turned it down. The Rock turned down John Bergen's comic treatment.
Yeah.
His loss.
And then insisted on doing Super Pets.
Or Black Adam.
After I, Frankenstein was greenlit, one of the producers asked me to write a few treatments for their consideration. The only details I was given about what they were looking for were, it's noir, the Frankenstein monster is alive, and is a detective. This is kind of what we kind of figured was going on here, right?
Yep.
I wrote 2 treatments. One was a steampunk thing set in the Victorian era, which they liked and bought. They passed on the other treatment. Years later, I dug the rejected treatment out of my archive and rewrote it as a short story. I think I sent you a copy of my Feels Like Rain collection. It is the short titled The House of Frankenstein. That short began as a pitch for I, Frankenstein. The soundtrack for I, Frankenstein is by Daniel Davies and Gino Leonardo. Gino is from Filter and several other bands. Daniel is best known today for writing and performing with his godfather, John Carpenter. While working with Daniel on the I, Frankenstein music, the president of Lakeshore Records and I pitched him the idea of releasing a complete, updated John Carpenter soundtrack library with us, as well as recording new music. Daniel and John ended up taking the concept to Sacred Bones label, but those conversations we had during I, Frankenstein sparked the idea of a John Carpenter musical resurgence, beginning with his Lost Themes album in 2014. Daniel and Gino's next project after scoring I, Frankenstein was to record a soundtrack for My Comic Wednesday, which after losing it to I, Frankenstein, I decided to publish anyway. So while the I, Frankenstein comic disappeared and the film got made, Wednesday's fate was the opposite. I, Frankenstein, the film, might have been a questionable endeavor, but the production birthed a few cool things.
Yeah,
very
definitely.
interesting.
Yeah, fascinating. Fascinating.
Yes. All right, let's talk about this.
Well, now we've got to talk...
Weird movie.
Reorient us. Well, we should talk about the comic.
The comic, of course.
As we always do.
Yes.
Did you do some research on this?
A little bit. Mm-hmm. I can tell you what's on the Wikipedia, which you can tell me as well. Anybody can tell you what's on the Wikipedia. It's actually called Airhawk and the Flying Doctors by...
Dixon is the guy's name? John Dixon.
John Dixon. It ran from 1959 to 1986. Started out as a Sunday or a weekend strip, and then a dailies were added in 1963. Mm-hmm. It's a very long run. 5,000 strips. I found them online.
Yeah.
By the way, I had a very weird experience this week, which I've never had before, which is I decided to read it on my phone. And I turned my phone sideways, but the way my app read it would just scroll. There weren't pages. It was just one continuous thing. And I did a calculation. My phone is 15 centimeters times 5,000 strips. It was like 800 meters. It was like one 800
Did you read them all? Did you read all 5,000?
No. I'll tell you what. There's two interesting things about this, which lead into the strip itself. This is not like other continuity strips I found, because there's not a cliffhanger at the end of each day and then a recap at the start of each day. So the first story went down very smooth. Yeah. It was just like reading a comic, and the art was excellent. I mean, him and his assistants, wherever they were, they're all listed on Wikipedia, could draw anything from any angle. It was really well done. And it was so easy to read compared to other continuity strips because it just like flowed. It was just like a continuous story.
Yes, and speaking of reading it on your phone, the images, instead of, as these are often printed as big blocks of, 15, 20 panels per page with these, when strips are reprinted, here, however it's been archived online, is only what you saw on a given day is represented in a saved image. Yeah. So on your phone, you could just slide.
That's right.
It must have looked really clean and good.
It was really cool, and I felt like I discovered some new form of comics that had never... nobody knew you could do a 1 kilometer long comic before. Here's how you do it. It is feasible with this technology.
Another thing is that they didn't tend to have... There wouldn't be a the end.
No, that's right.
And often the titles of the stories would be quite small and difficult to spot. Yeah. So it almost felt like it's just a really, really long story.
Yes. So when I started reading on Sunday, because normally I start reading on, we record on Thursday. Normally I would read on Tuesday, like Monday, Tuesday, and then watch the movie on Wednesday. This time I thought, there's a lot of these, I'm going to read them. And I sat down on Sunday, I started, and then I found by the end of middle of the third story, I was like, okay, I'm done. And we'll talk about why, but then I came back and I kind of went back over those first stories. So I actually went over the first couple of stories twice, but I certainly did not go through all 5,000.
No.
But that first story I really quite liked. It was interesting to me because it's really Australian in terms of the locations.
Yes.
These places with Aboriginal names are just constantly... there's the language is real Australian. All the
super Australian. There's so much Australian slang.
Some stuff I couldn't understand, much like in Barry McKenzie last year. I was like, "What does that mean?"
And Fatty Finn before that. But here, it's even more, and it has a lot of authenticity too.
Although it's interesting because it's usually the bad guys that are using terms like yobbo and these words that I'm like, "What's he talking about?" Or shot through. some guy shot through in a ute or something. I'm like, what's he saying? It's usually the bad guys that are like that.
Yeah, their language tends to be a bit coarser because they're kind of like rougher individuals, whereas Jim Hawk, our protagonist, is a pilot and a bit more cultured.
Yes. So what I can tell you a little bit about the background of the script, besides there being 5,000, they are kind of currently in print. There's a guy out there called Nat Carmichael, who's a kind of archivist of Australian comics. And he had printed a few of these, like, in the 80s as, like, comics with staples, and he just did a Kickstarter a couple of months ago to put out, like, a hardcover volume.
Whoa!
Which is, like, volume 6, not volume 1. He's starting with the good stuff.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm going to start with volume 6 instead of volume 1 to try to sell them. And he ran a successful Kickstarter, and he's apparently, according to Kickstarter, he's got access to all the original art from Dixon's family. So he's scanning the original art.
That's brilliant.
So he's at least trying to preserve all these things.
Yeah, I mean it's a piece of history.
Yeah.
A syndicated Australian comic.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of those.
No, and apparently it had some overseas success.
Yeah, I read that as well.
In fact, looking for the movie, when you look online, there's almost no images of it. The only VHS box cover is like from Norway or something. Like it's really like bizarrely obscure, but apparently
I didn't even recognize the language that. I guess Norwegian. I don't know any Norwegian, so that tracks.
Could have been Bulgarian, anything, I don't know. Okay, so a little bit about the strip. So it's about this character named Jim Hawk. He has his own charter airplane service.
Yeah. So yes,
called Airhawk. He's a former AAF pilot and intelligence agent, I guess. So it started in 59, so would he have been
Second World War, 100%.
Yeah. There's a hint in the movie that maybe he's a Vietnam pilot.
Of course, because they've had to update it chronologically.
Sure.
Yeah. So he would originally have been a Second World War pilot.
Okay, so he has his charter service, and he basically works with the Royal Flying Doctor Service.
Yes.
And this guy named Hal Matthews, who's the doctor there. It was very interesting to me that Jim Hawk was not a doctor. I expected going into this thing that Jim Hawk is going to be this pilot who's also a doctor that flies around to look after
But that would be less grounded, wouldn't it? Because it's hard to be both those things.
It is, but it was interesting to me how much it was like Tailspin Tommy. And the Tailspin Tommy was not he was just a delivery guy.
He flew the mail service.
He flew the mail service, didn't he? So all the crimes had to do with mail stuff.
Yes.
But he didn't carry a gun or anything. He was not...
Oh, yeah. This reminds me very much of Tailspin Tommy. Very much.
In a sense, he's not the doctor. The doctor gets a call to go out somewhere. He has to wait for the doctor to get an emergency call. And he goes out there. And I'll tell you, the reason I stopped by the third story was always somebody robbed a bank or trying to rob the payroll, which I think we had in Tailspin Tommy.
Yes, we did. It was the exact same thing. I wrote that down. So there's a lot of overlap. Basically, there'll be petty crime, or not petty crime, but crime.
Larceny.
Yeah. Larceny is occurring.
Yes.
Usually when money is being delivered by plane or something important is being delivered by plane, the villains will fake an SOS. Yeah. We saw that over and over in Tailspin Tommy. It's happening again here.
Yeah.
And then they'll be tricked. The original plane will be tricked into landing.
Carrying the payroll.
Yep. Again, they steal it. Then there will either be a call out for available pilots to go and look for it, or there will be a medical emergency, and then the Royal Flying Doctors have to fly out.
Yeah.
And that's how Jim Hawk will be involved. Upon landing, they'll be held up at gunpoint by some disreputable characters. In Tailspin Tommy, it was his female accomplice, or who was always with him, who was then like held up, who was like threatened.
Yeah.
Here, there's usually a nurse.
Yes, Janet the nurse, Janet Grant. I really liked Janet, especially in the first story. Yeah. I thought she was great.
A good character.
She's a really good character. She's a nun. She's a sister, and she's a nurse. And she's really like, these gangsters are holding her at gunpoint, and she's like, this guy's got typhoid fever, I have to treat him. Like, she's like, going to treat this guy, and they don't understand. They're like, what's your angle on this?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to help this guy? And she's like, I help people, that's what I do.
Yep,
but she's also very sneaky, like, when Jim Hawk is hit over the head, she like inspects him and is like, he's dead. And it turns out that was a trick she pulled on him. And she's like, I want to ride in the back of the truck, and she throws her gasoline over the side.
And their drinking water.
Yeah, and they're drinking water. Then when they stop for water and they run off, she tells them, don't drink that water, it's salty. They run off anyway, and while their backs are turned, she like goes into the engine.
Steals the carburetor or something.
Yeah, and then there's like threads to throw it into the water.
And she does throw it in the water.
All this stuff was great. And then when they catch her and they're holding her, one guy grabs her, she elbows him so that she can duck out of the way so Jim Hawk can get at the guy.
Only slightly ruined by the final panel of that story being her collapsing into Jim's arms and saying, "Oh, Jimmy, I feel terribly tired suddenly."
Yes.
But otherwise, it's pretty.
Yeah, but it was very interesting how...
And she has, like, an ideology. I mean, she talks about why she got into nursing.
Yeah.
You know, and she talks about her philosophy of treating everybody without regard as to their personal morality or anything like that.
Yes.
Just a kind of well-rounded... It's a shame she's not in more of the stories. I think it's sort of...
Yeah.
She's a one-off, really. But generally, there'll be... So, yeah, much like how... Also, similar to Tailspin Tommy, is that Jim will often not be in it for big stretches.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah, huge stretches.
He's knocked out, he's knocked out, presumed dead for a whole chunk of this first one. Yeah.
So he's very good at fisticuffs.
Yes.
And one final note about a classic Airhawk adventure would be that bullets are extremely survivable in the world of Airhawk. People are getting shot constantly.
Unless you're Aboriginal.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this second story. But the first... And actually, the thing about her falling into his arms was fine to me because she was a nun and they're not in a relationship. She's not like waiting for him to rescue her, basically, in this first story anyway.
No. And she's just gone through an incredible ordeal.
Yes.
Anyone would fall into anybody's arms.
It's a bit... In this sense, it seems like in this first daily strip from 1963, it's set up in such a way that's a bit like Tailspin Tommy. There's no romance angle in this.
Oh, yeah. Much like Tailspin Tommy, Jim is absolutely squeaky clean.
Yes.
And in fact seems to have no desires or personality except to fly his plane.
That's right. All it is, and it's not even his. He's just waiting for the doctor to get calls to fly his plane.
He does punch people a lot.
He does, yes.
But otherwise, he's sort of like an empty vessel.
By the way, all the fights are often drawn really great. Like there's silent panels
really
where he's like punching somebody out or someone, and there's like no dialogue or caption or anything. It's just pure action.
He does tend to draw the same faces over and over, I noticed.
Yes, that is true.
He sort of has a villain face.
Yes.
Like it's kind of like a chinless guy with a sloping forehead.
Yeah.
He just pops up over and over.
Yeah, but I do think him and his assistants were of that generation of newspaper cartoonists that were really good.
Oh yeah, the artist, it's much better than Tailspin Tommy, for example.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't very good.
Yeah. But when we got into the second story, this is when my disappointment started to set in. Mm-hmm. So it starts with this Aboriginal character who is completely backwards, superstitious, ignorant. Does he kill someone at the start or something like that?
He's a murderer.
Yes.
So he's already wanted.
Right, okay.
By, the police.
Right.
And on top of that, we're told that he's an outcast from his own society.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's doubly...
Yeah.
He's doubly outcast.
Yeah.
But yes, unfortunately, he's a total stereotype.
He speaks to himself in English, in broken pidgin English.
Not just... He speaks to himself. He speaks to himself like Superboy.
Yes.
Me go see lizard.
Yes. Me go see magic lizard. Magic lizard protect... What was his name? Nai or something?
Nai, yeah.
Magic lizard protect Nai. It was driving me nuts.
Yeah, it's a real shame.
And they were like, we gotta get this guy. And this whole story involves this guy that had robbed a bank and crashed in the desert. And there was another guy in the van. That guy died.
There's a whole thing with amnesia.
He's pretending to have amnesia, but he's actually the robber.
The bank robber forces... is it a bank teller?
Yeah, I think so.
He forces the teller to... Or he was the teller, it doesn't matter which. But forces the fiancé of his crush to drive him away from a bank robbery in a van. They crash, and this guy that had been forced to drive the car dies.
Yeah.
Then the thief does a switcheroo with his ID.
Right.
So then pretends to be the dead guy, and saying that and pretends to have amnesia.
Yeah.
So he's hoping that he'll be left alone long enough that he can go back and recover the money.
Yeah.
Fine. This is a perfectly fine story.
Yes.
But meanwhile, we've got this Indigenous character running around.
Yeah.
And he's a total stereotype.
And then we meet another Indigenous character that they ask for information, but he's just the same. He's the same type,
well,
except he's not a criminal.
He's a tracker. They've got what they call a black fella tracker.
Yeah.
This was practice, maybe not by the 50s, but it was practice to have Indigenous liaison to help with the local terrain.
But why couldn't one of them be
erudite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why did they both have to be this?
Yeah. This is race, and also this is coming out. These stories are coming out in the late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
We really should know
63,
better. Really should know better by this point.
But the crazy thing is, so this girl...
This is in the 20s. Sorry, man.
Keep going.
Really should know better by this point. We're only a few years out from the kind of like the 67 referendum or whatever to give Aboriginal people citizenship. Really, this kind of attitude belonged 30, 40 years earlier.
Yeah. So the other thing is, this girl was actually the ex-fiance of this guy. She left him to go to this other guy. Now,
yes,
one of this guy's, the bank robber's issues is with this woman who has left him for this other guy. And he's like, women, they're always doing this kind of stuff. And Jim Hawk's response is, they're not all mercenary little gold diggers. He's like, there might be some good ones out there. Don't blame her.
Yeah,
and yet at the end of the story...
It's a shame this is the very second story.
Yeah. At the very end of the story, she announces, this is not the last couple of strips, she's like, well, I'm going to go back to my town, which is Wagga Wagga or something. I can't remember where it was.
Yep.
And then she says to him, if you're ever over that way, I'll be around. So her fiance has been murdered. And her response is to tell Jim Hawk, hey, if you ever come by the pub in Wagga Wagga, look me up, babe. I was like, what is this? Also, same strip. Our Ganai is killed by a stray bullet from the bad guy, and
the only
Jim
person
Hawk
that dies from a bullet, really.
Yes, Jim. She before he dies, the woman tells him, "Turn yourself in, you'll get a fair trial." She's like, "Turn yourself in." He gets shot and dies. Jim's response to this is, "Poor devil, hope he finds happier hunting grounds."
I wrote that down as well.
Like, wow, that's cold. Like that, this guy, I was like, okay, this guy's maybe gonna, I thought he was really gonna be arrested at the end of the story and have to face a white man's trial, which he didn't want to face because he knew he'd be hung. Okay, but that's, I think, better than hanged, sorry. I think that would be better than the outcome that we get.
100%. And also, happy hunting ground. Get your indigenous ethnicities correct, please.
Yes. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's a shame because so much of these... I read a whole bunch of other stories after this one, and they do get better.
Okay.
And so much of it is really... It feels it feels so rooted. Like, it's set in the Northern Territory and Northern Western Australia. And there are all these authentic place names. There's all this authentic lingo. They use the correct Australian slang. They use words like deco, which I used in my... technically it means to look at, not listen to, but you'll forgive me. Like getting on the blower, getting in a prang.
Yeah.
All this... It's an accident.
Right.
Or to shoot through, to escape,
Yeah.
to run away. All these great... And it doesn't feel forced or fake. It feels like really authentic.
No, I could hear the voices in my head. It's actually... That first story was really well written and structured. It was really... I liked the twists and turns of it.
Great place names. They'll talk about real, army bases with names like Woomera and Tidbinbilla. These are, real places.
Yeah.
It makes it feel really grounded in a way that a lot of the other comics were, the Phantom or something.
Yeah,
or also Tailspin Tommy even.
Agreed.
And it's a shame that there's this racist caricature and also kind of sexist caricature in the very second story.
And then I started reading the third one, and I was enjoying it, but then it was kind of about this sunken treasure, basically, and these gangsters that were trying to get a hold of it. And I was like, okay, I think I kind of get the picture. And Jordan will explain it to me the outline of a typical Airhawk and the Flying Doctor.
I've sort of tiptoed around it,
Yeah.
Threaten the woman, force a landing.
Yeah.
Gangsters slash soldiers of fortune.
Yeah.
Survive a few gunshot wounds. Airhawk himself has been shot like 50 times.
Yeah.
He's just getting shot all the time and recovering from it. Yeah. And then the Flying Doctors will dig a bullet out of him and he's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, even, I mean, that first story, even the Hal Matthews, the doctor, gets shot and is presumed dead. I was like, holy shit. But actually, it just grazed his temple. And they crawl away.
Right. People's heads are always getting grazed. There's another story I read, crazy story, because they start to get... There's one with atomic missiles.
Okay. Okay.
Basically, again, we have a plane that's grounded. Yeah. In this case, it's a survey plane. It's taking photos of the terrain in the NT or wherever it is, and some guys are in a base, kind of secret base, a lair, and they see the plane and they're like, "Whoa, that plane cannot be allowed to get back to anybody with those photos it just took." So they shoot it down.
Okay.
Then, of course, Jim Hawk is seconded to help look for the plane because everybody's looking for it. Then he lands, finds the plane, finds that, I think they recover the film negative. Yeah, he does. He recovers the film negative, takes off before the guys from the secret lair can catch him. There's a whole to-do. Here's another thing. There's often a submarine.
Okay.
Dixon seems to have submarines on the brain. They're always in some bay off the coast of the Northern Territory or northern Western Australia. And the villains are always in the sub, and they always have to get to the sub.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like Blueberry. Remember how everyone was always running?
Yes. Yes.
An average kind of like Dixon sort of story is that they're always trying to get to a submarine. Anyway, there's a whole to-do with they seize the film and then they have to find the base. When they get to the base, there's a count, a European count that's running it, who Jim Hawk knows from Europe.
Right.
From when he got him out of a sticky situation during the Second World War when he was behind the lines in France. But now he's gone bad. And he's an arms merchant. We've had arms merchants before as well. And he's basically been selling arms.
Okay.
That's what arms merchants do. And he's got nukes.
Right. Amazing.
But he's got nukes. And what's more, he's sold the nukes twice. He sold them to some country.
Yep.
And also he plans to sell them to the Australian government.
Right.
Because the Australian government, he wants 10 million pounds, because there's still pounds at this point in Australia, because it's before 66. And he says if he doesn't get his 10 million pounds, he's going to set off a nuke in the air, an airburst, over Canberra.
Whoa.
Which he does.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah.
So, in this universe, Canberra's radiated.
Well, apparently it's in the stratosphere.
Yeah, right.
Apparently it was okay.
Right.
But the next one's going to be right over the top of Canberra.
Yeah, right, okay.
So anyway, there's a whole bit where they pay him with counterfeit bills and Jim Hawk blows up the armory with a bomb.
Amazing.
Wild. Then there's another story a little bit later where this is before the moon landing. So there's a story about a moon landing. The Americans have sent a capsule around the moon as preparation for the moon landing, because he's talking about the space race. Mm. The capsule comes down in Australia.
Okay.
And not just in Australia, but it lands on a mountain.
Okay.
In the outback, so in the desert. But but it has a pool of water in the middle of this mountain.
Okay.
Which is a thing.
Yeah.
There are some like crustaceans that only live on top of Uluru, for example.
Right.
In puddles that are just there all the time. Anyway, so Jim Hawk has to go and swim down to this capsule,
right,
and like pull like an astronaut out of it.
These sound like these should be Modesty Blaze stories.
The arms trade, the international arms. Yeah. There's fewer.
But you can see, like by the third story, as far as I got, he was repeating himself. Already.
Oh, it's always the same.
Except he does fly helicopters sometimes.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah, but it's very like Tailspin Tommy, and to a lesser extent like the Phantom, in that there's always some gang.
Yeah.
They've always taken someone prisoner, or they have a scheme on the blower, and only our hero can stop them.
Yes. Well, only our hero happens to be there.
He's in the area.
Yes, that's right. Because there's been an emergency, a medical emergency, or a fake medical emergency, which requires...
Well, there's this astronaut. One astronaut is rescued, and he absconds from the hospital that they take him to. and heads back to the capsule because he needs to recover the data from it, because he needs to get the data to NASA so that NASA will be able to complete the moon landing.
Right.
So Jim has to go after him.
Right.
You know, with the doctor, because it's a patient that's escaped. And that's when he has to swim down to the capsule.
Right, got it.
To try and rescue him.
Got it. Okay, so we move on to this movie.
Yeah, let's do so. It's funny. One final thing. It does remind me. It reminded me a tiny bit of Blueberry, just because it was in the desert. Like frequently, it's usually in the desert because it's in outback Australia.
Yes, and you really get a sense, like in that first story, how thirsty these guys were when they lost their water. Like it was such an actual
the landscape. Is
real. It's a real issue that they don't have water and that they're thirsty and they're in the desert.
Yes.
Because we'll talk about in this movie, which is one of the craziest movies we've ever done on this show. I was constantly shocked by what I was seeing.
Good.
On screen.
Good.
Okay.
Let's jump in then.
All right. TV movie. Supposed to be a pilot for a series.
Almost certainly, yep.
Lots of sources online say 1981. Some say 82. At the end of this, so the copyright says 82. I don't know if that was a VHS release.
It was filmed in 81.
Yeah.
100%, because there is at one point when they're in the Brisbane CBD, there's a flag or a banner to do with like the Royal Gala, which would have been at that time in that year.
Okay.
But as to when it's screened, nobody knows.
Right. That explains it.
There was a repeat in 85.
Oh, interesting.
Which is probably where our copy comes from, when it was repeated.
Okay.
Apparently on a Friday.
Oh, this is a VHS rip, which I pulled off of YouTube and put back on YouTube because it disappeared. And there were times when I was worried the tape was going to break. I was like, oh no. But no, it held out.
Yes. But yeah, as for its original airing, that's lost.
So interesting. Yeah.
There's nothing about it from 81 or 82.
Yeah, okay.
There's a great website that I've used for previous Australian films we've done, Ozflix. They say that, you know, they just not able. There's nothing. All they found was a note in a newspaper somewhere about insuring the film.
Right.
That was the only footprint.
So there's like no reviews the day after airing. Well, nobody can find them.
Does it seem like it? I personally didn't look on Trove.
By the way, it's spelled Airhawk one word instead of two words, unlike the strip, and it's called Airhawk Star of the North.
What is that? They're not even in the
I
North.
believe it's Hokuto Shinken. It's the ability to blow people up from the inside.
If only that were happening.
Okay, we start in a parking garage. This guy pulls up. He's this kind of young dude, seems kind of cocky.
Yep.
But then suddenly he's being chased by dudes with shotguns wearing pantyhose masks.
Yep.
And there's this hilariously cheap chase through this parking lot where he's like ducking around stuff. Anytime people try to hide in this movie, it's really funny.
Yeah.
Not intentionally.
No.
Like unintentionally hilarious. He gets into he pushes like a trolley in front of these guys with hardly any stuff on it, and then runs over, mashing the button, and then he's like, haha, laughing in there. This is all very, but then turns out he's in the hotel. And he goes to the lobby, goes to the phones, and he calls up his brother, who we learn the phone is answered by Jim Hawk.
Yes.
Who answers the phone with no shirt on.
No.
I guess he's supposed to be a heartthrob type. He's a very square-jawed actor.
Yes.
But no personality.
Yeah, it's a shot.
Really interesting. I guess it's close to the comic in that respect, but it's not intentionally. This guy just can't. In fact, nobody in this movie can act. I think there's one
it's
person.
Such a shame. Well, some of the backup characters.
Yes.
All of our leads. We have two leads.
Yeah.
The brothers.
Yep.
Jim and Warren.
Yeah.
We have their love interests, whose names I forget.
Janet. Jim's girlfriend is named Janet.
Okay.
Like the nurse.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But they might as well be cardboard cutouts.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
The ladies playing them can't act.
Yeah.
It's completely wooden.
Yeah.
We have some supporting characters who can act a bit, and the reason for that is because they're television actors,
right,
with careers in television, who are hoping this is going to be turned into a pilot.
Got it.
So people like the mother. With
the mom was my favorite.
Yeah.
I was like, can she be my mom? Until the very end.
Yeah, until she turns out to be bad. And, like the aunt, another long-term kind of, like, who has this speech where she's like this wealthy aunt. She's drinking, like, a gin and tonic in the middle of the day. Yeah. She's talking about all of her investments. I'm like, wow, that's a cool character. No, she just vanishes and we just have bloody They do try to give Jim a personality by giving him a very strange...
Oh, we'll get to his strange obsession. It is bizarre, but we'll get to it. But any other time, except when we get to the 2 scenes about his obsession, he's nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. Less than Tailspin Tommy, who had this kind of hero worship for that World War II pilot.
Oh, well, that film was great.
Yeah.
I really liked that first Tailspin Tommy.
I liked it too. And, I mean, he was a very wholesome, clear-cut, clean-cut guy with no real personality. But in the movie, at least, he worshipped this character. He had something.
Yeah. I wish I was watching that movie.
The something this guy has is very weird. Anyway, we learned that his brother, the younger brother, Warren, Jim knows that this guy's kind of a troublemaker. He's always in some kind of shady business or something like that. And he's like, he gets a call from his brother from the hotel lobby. He's like, bro, I need you to fly me up to Surfers Paradise or somewhere, and I'll pay you cash.
I think they're in Surfers Paradise. They need to fly to the the property.
Right. Yeah. Okay. He's like, bro, I'll pay you this time real money. I'm not asking for a handout.
Yeah, Jim's shocked to hear this because his brother never has money, and in fact had hit him up a few years earlier for money.
Yeah.
But no, we get a scene where we see the plane.
Yes.
It's like a tiger moth.
Yeah. And he's actually got a logo which is AHC for Airhawk Star.
And it's the same logo from the comic.
Right, I think it's the only thing they spent money on in this movie, maybe, was paying a designer and a printer to make this thing.
It's so cheap.
Okay, so he actually pays him cash at the plane. He's like a bit shocked.
Pays him
$400
for a 2-way trip to an outback station.
And he doesn't want family rates. He's like, I'll pay you the full amount for your time, brother. And now we get to credits. Now, mid-flight, you'd think this is, okay, cool, this show's going to be about airplanes and cool airplane stuff. In the middle of the credits, while the plane is flying, cut to cows in a field. Very long, lingering shot of, cows in a field. This movie does this over and over again.
Stock footage of...
Just stock...
of cattle
Yes,
sheep.
Almost literal stock footage.
Very good.
And then we get... Okay, end credits, and then we get cut to, meanwhile, in the Mystic East.
Oh man, I could not believe that. It's Hong Kong, but Jesus Christ, the Mystic East.
Why does it have to be mystic?
I don't know.
This is my question. I got to the end of the movie, I was like, there was no, magic or witchcraft or anything. There were no mogwais. Why did it have to be called the Mystic East?
It's just a figure of speech.
Yeah.
For the Mystic East.
It is. I felt like it was a bit like.
There used to be a head shop in Ringwood called the Mystic East.
Okay, interesting.
I doubt that. That Reg McLean was thinking of that.
Considering how wholesome this movie is trying to be, I don't think they would. Oh no. Well, okay, we'll get to that. It might not be. Anyway, so we get some B-roll of streets in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And then we cut to an office. Obviously, the office is not in Hong Kong. They've got the curtains drawn, so you can't see the street.
It's in a Chinese restaurant in Brisbane.
Yeah. It's so obvious.
Yeah. It's just in the dining rooms. And we've got 2 actors. We've got a German assassin called Hans.
I didn't know he was a German assassin until much later. Well, when he started talking about bratwurst in the car, while eating bratwurst while they were driving around. Yeah. I did not know what this... Because he says to her something like, you British people. I was like, what's he? I thought he was British. No. His accent's just really bad.
It's because, everyone in this movie is an Aussie actor doing... And if they're from overseas, they're doing an accent.
Right.
So our head of the assassins lady, this is clearly supposed to be... She's wearing a cheapao in this scene. What you couldn't... Even Brisbane in the 80s, you couldn't get a Chinese actress.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Well, she's another television actor.
Right.
Long career in television.
But she's terrible.
She's doing a British accent.
Yeah.
Just why?
Yeah.
I guess because you're from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And he's doing a terrible German accent.
They're trying to make this international.
Yeah.
They're trying to make this Hong Kong, England, Germany, all these forces.
Yep.
No, this is so obviously... around the corner, maybe upstairs at the studio.
Yep. Yep.
Upstairs at Channel 9 or something. Anyway, we learned that these two this fight in the parking garage where those guys are supposed to be assassins that were killing this guy and they failed. So we're going to try again. We're going to send this German assassin, or they're going to send more local assassins.
Well, they're going to send
well.
This doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Like she's employed Hans. Hans is an international assassin,
right?
Like the real deal.
Yeah,
he's German and scary, and he does like a Hitler salute at one point.
Okay, yeah.
But even though she's hired him, she says she's going to send the local guys to do it again anyway?
Yeah.
Why?
And
so
then
we can have
local guys, as far as I can tell, were the same local guys.
Yeah, they were.
From before. The same two guys that are just these kind of thugs. They're supposed to be hired killers, but...
They're pretty crap.
They're really crap. They're as bad as it gets. They get beat up by a charter airline pilot.
They do.
By the way.
And his
by this guy, Warren just ran away from them and threw a trolley in front of them and ran into an elevator. And they couldn't. After the elevator went up, they were like, "Well, we're done. We can't go upstairs. We can't go into a hotel lobby and find this guy. How do we? How do elevators work?"
I know there's a hard cut to the hotel lobby.
Yeah.
But I think actually then it's not the same building.
Oh.
Because he returns to that hotel.
Sure, but they still couldn't go up a flight of stairs and try.
Yeah, they couldn't find some stairs. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Amazing. So, Warren has chartered Jim to pick up his girlfriend from the Outback station, fly back to Surfers, and then he's having a holiday with his girlfriend and with Jim and Janet in Surfers Paradise.
Right.
So we have some
And
shots.
are they staying at Aunt Ellie's house? Because they are in a massive apartment or massive hotel room, which looks like the same set, which is Aunt Ellie. Aunt Ellie is rich, apparently.
Yeah,
She's
you're
living
right.
in this massive
It
apartment.
is the same set.
It's the same set, but it's
that
the
might
same
not
place.
be deliberate.
No, if it's a different place, how can this guy afford it? This guy is not a rich pilot. He's just a...
Well, maybe
he has... Well, I guess he only has...
Perhaps he
has
comes
some
from
service.
money.
Maybe, because Ellie's got money.
Why do they have... It's a really beautiful, like... It's at the top of a high-rise in Surfers Paradise. They have a view of the beach.
Yeah.
They're eating breakfast. They're, they're lounging around in robes on the top floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, how can he afford this?
Yes.
Maybe it is Aunt Ellie's place.
Maybe it is, but then where's she? Because she's not in any of these scenes later on. So I really could not figure out where they were.
Yeah, good question.
In those scenes.
Good point.
Anyway, this scene, we get a scene here where Jim Hawk, our hero, is talking with Aunt Ellie. She's talking about this Warren's girlfriend's property, which the bank is about to foreclose.
Yeah, this is important. So they haven't paid their mortgage for 6 months.
She says, yeah.
Meanwhile, they've owned the property for 120 years.
Right.
What kind of mortgage is this?
Yeah.
150-year mortgage?
That's right. Yep.
Perhaps they mortgaged it.
Maybe they had to remortgage it for some
Yeah, well,
reason.
it's been said that ever since the paterfamilias died, that these women haven't been able to run the property properly.
Jeez, okay.
So Aunt Ellie's plan is to purchase it. Aunt Ellie seems like a good egg. Her plan is to purchase it and for Warren to marry the girl so that she'll get to stay in her home, her ancestral home, but Warren will run the place.
Right.
Because you need a man.
Right. I just want to talk about the staging of this scene. We get Jim Hawk, when we get close-ups of him, which are like chest-up close-ups, he's center of frame.
Yeah.
Whenever we cut to Ellie,
it's so
she's
distracting.
all the way to the left.
Yeah, why is that?
And then we see the back of the apartment behind her. The
Do you think they were just really happy
penthouse.
with getting this penthouse?
Look, I think what happened... Normally, I would think if you're a director, you'd be like, we have to establish how wealthy she is.
Right.
So we get the long shot where we see the whole place. We get the shot, the symbolic, the Hitchcock shot where we've got the character and her opulence behind her. So you know who this character is. It's identifying her with her surroundings.
Yep.
Now we need another camera setup, bros. It's time to move the camera, have a two-shot with both these characters in it. They're talking to each other. No. Every time we cut to Ellie, it's the same shot where she's all the way to the left.
All the way to the left is baffling. I noticed that as well.
So strange. First of many strange moments like this in the movie.
Yep. They're on... So we see them having a good time in Surfers. They go down the beach.
Now we get a montage where they go to the theme park. Crazy water slide scene where they've added these special effects that look like Indian wedding videos. Like, what is this? Why do we have this, like... It looks like imagine like a music video from 1979.
That's exactly what it's like, a music
where
video.
They've added these... I guess it's supposed
like
to make
Ashes to Ashes by David Bowie, right?
Right. It's supposed to make us feel like this is more fun than it even really is.
Yes.
To have these awesome special effects of these VHS. I was like, this is crazy.
Just crappy, like, auras.
Yes.
Like, they move and there's an aura following them around. It just looks so crappy.
It's so bad. It makes me not want to go to this theme park. Not like, boy, these guys are having a fun time. It's the strangest thing. Then they're lying on this beach, and this guy comes up who's called Cowboy.
He's our third terrible accent of the movie.
Yeah. He wears a cowboy hat.
And aviator shades.
And he's apparently hit with a lady. He's another pilot that works for Jim. He does these $8 joyrides on the beach.
Yeah.
Hey, that seems pretty cheap.
In a biplane. Yeah.
In a biplane. $8 joyride. He's with this girl, and he's like, he wants some jobs. And this girl, he's like, he's going to go up with this girl. She gives a line about how I'll get to hold the joystick. And I'm like, what is this, Batman Returns? You know what? By the way, I can't believe how... There's another scene in the movie where he kisses her and he puts his hat in front of their faces so the camera can't see them. And there's so much anti-drug talk in this movie. This movie's like, really, drugs are bad. Okay?
Yes. Yeah, okay.
So, drugs are bad. You can't show him kissing this girl on camera, but we can have this line about the joystick.
Yep.
What is the standard that we're going for here?
I don't know.
So baffling. Anyway, this character's supposed to be funny, I guess. Oh. He's supposed to be the comic relief. He's supposed to be a contrast to Jim.
Yeah.
Anybody's a contrast to Jim, really.
Yeah, because he's just a completely cardboard cutout.
Yes.
He's utterly grey. So then there's a dance.
Oh, yeah. This is
at the real Brisbane Aviators Club.
This is wild. This band is playing this song on stage, this music on stage. It is some of the worst music. It's like they're not musicians. It's like they caught 4 random guys from the crew, like got the gaffer and the grip up there, play this trumpet, and it's just random noises. I could not believe what I was hearing. It was unbelievable, and yeah. Anyway, so there's this big dance, but these people are very well dressed for the the Aero Club?
Yeah, the Royal Brisbane Aero.
Yeah, Royal Aero Club.
Yep. Apparently, I think the real venue because there's plane stuff on the walls.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone's dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
Then there's a call for Warren.
Yes, but Warren first he gives his. First he gives this girl this diamond necklace. We get 2 extreme close-ups of the diamond. 2. Not 1, 2. Make sure we know this is about diamonds. Even though the movie tries to trick us later on. Maybe don't put the close-ups in here if that's what you're trying to do later on. His girlfriend is very impressed by this because she's a cardboard cutout. This like, ooh, diamond necklace. She's like, I want to marry this guy who's he's apparently, we learn later, been to Hong Kong 12 times in the last 15 months.
Or is it 15 times in the last 12 months?
And she's not like... This guy's all right. She's not suspicious.
Where did he get all this money from? How could he afford an enormous diamond?
Exactly. She never questions
when he's like unemployed.
Yeah. So he gets a call, and he ends up going out to the parking lot, and the 2 guys jump him.
Yeah.
And now we get the first of a couple.
They're responsible for the call.
Right. Yes, they called him to go out there, and we get a very long fight sequence here. And some of it's shot in first person, so we see
Cowboy cops a punch. There's a hilarious moment where Cowboy's like, "Watch out, Cowboy's here!"
Yeah, he talks about himself in the third person.
I'm gonna whoop your asses.
Yeah,
and then we get a really awkward. We see him take a punch, and then there's a really awkward first person close up.
Yeah,
like just of his face, his chewing gum falls out of his mouth, and then he collapses. It looks so stupid.
It's so stupid, and we get a first-person shot. Also, one of these guys with a knife dancing around.
Yep.
One of the assassins, the hitmen.
But they're no match for this part-time charter pilot.
Yeah, who actually throws one of the guys into a garbage can, and we get a comedy routine where he's stuck in the garbage can.
Oh, yeah.
And then he falls over, and then Cowboy comes up and starts beating him on the head.
But very
beating
gently.
on the can.
But gently.
Gently.
Because the guy's really in there.
Yeah.
And we can't afford stuntmen.
No. No, I noticed in the credits there's one stuntman listed in the credits. One. So of the 5 people in this fight, or 6, one of them is a stuntman. Everybody else just moving really slowly.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Jim Hawk, Lou Ferrigno's a car?
Yes.
Like he hulks out?
He lifts a car. It's like a Mini, but come on. I thought the same. I wrote Hulk's out in my notes too. Jim Hawk is not. He's not just a
He's
pilot.
not the
he's
Hulk.
super strong.
Why are we having him tip? It's like it's like a mini miner or something. But still, like, I guess this guy really can lift the car, and he's kind of proud of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So he tips it over on one of the hoods.
Yeah.
Anyway, they've been subdued. The cops are called.
Yeah.
But now the cops are interested in what's going on and why
so
these.
They go back to the high rise, which is maybe
this time it's well, we're not in the high rise yet. It's Warren's hotel. It's the same hotel.
Okay, got it.
It's Warren's hotel room.
Got it. Okay.
We see him make a call.
He's been cut in the fight. He's injured.
Yes.
He's been temporarily bandaged by Janet.
Yes. He's alone.
Yes.
Why? Fine. He's alone and he's on the phone.
Yeah.
You could blink and miss this.
Right.
But he tells someone, "I'm out."
The operation's off. Yeah.
Yep.
We've got enough money. We're out.
I'm not going to sell anymore.
Yeah.
I'm cancelling it.
They tried to kill him twice, even though he literally laughed off the first one. I guess this time he's been caught and he's like, okay, it's over.
Yeah. And then he says, well, I'll talk to you when I see you soon.
Yeah.
Okay, hangs up. Then Jim and Janet come in. Where were they? What was more important than a guy that was recently stabbed? I don't know. He just needed some time to make this phone call.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jim tells...
Oh, it's not the only funny phone call in the movie. We get another crazy one later.
Jim says to him, I guess he's been talking to the police.
Yeah.
Why would the police talk to Jim? Jim, I guess, was the one that did all the punching. He says a sergeant, like a detective sergeant's going to come up and talk to you, and I suggest you get your story straight, because this is looking pretty sus.
Yep. And the doctor comes up, Hal Matthews, so this is the doc from the strip, but I guess this is an alternate version, or they were never going to do flying doctors in this version, or maybe a few episodes down the road, the plan was for them to hook up. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's very incidental. He's only here to patch this guy up.
Yep.
Basically. And then the cop shows up. He's a real cliched, hard... He talks to them like he's a police chief and they're the rogue detective that he throws the book at. Give me your gun and badge. No, these are the people that were like the victims of this crime.
Yeah.
But he's really hard with them. Okay, now we get to the speech. We get to Jim Hawk's big speech.
This is incredible.
25 minutes in the movie. While the cop is there, hanging out, he's like, by the way, Jim, you have to pay your taxes. They're going to send a guy, what do they call a writ?
Like the
writ collector or something they call?
They've got, the sheriff's office has...
They have a writ out for this guy.
Yeah, because he's for non-payment of taxes.
Non-payment of taxes.
And apparently he doesn't pay he never pays his taxes.
He never pays taxes.
He doesn't pay them every year.
Those fucking guys in the Senate sit around and do nothing. Why should I pay their salaries? They're corrupt. They do nothing. I'm not going to pay taxes. Wow.
Completely out of the blue.
Huge speech.
Yeah,
out of nowhere. This guy has shown no personality, no opinions about anything.
3-4 minutes, he has this
He thinks his brother is shady.
Yeah.
He's not paying taxes. And he has no issue with this.
Wild speech about all they want to do is stifle entrepreneurship.
Yes.
and it's, what? There's nothing in the comics about this. Or at least none of the ones that I read. I don't know, maybe around strip 4,500.
Like, you'd almost expect it to be in like Harold Gray's Little Orphan Annie.
Yes.
Like, what's it doing here?
Yes, it absolutely belongs in Little Orphan Annie. It's such an odd anti-establishment kind of rant.
Yeah. And I think we're supposed to be on his side. Like, the way it's presented, there's no counter-argument.
No.
It's like, this guy is the hero of the story.
Yep.
He's a tough guy with his fists. He fights for right. He's like, he knows his brother's doing something shady.
Yep.
We're 25 minutes into this. And then suddenly, he gives a speech, and I think the intention is for the audience to be on his side and to agree with him.
Like, apropos of nothing, he just...
Yeah.
What was the film we watched recently with some... Oh, Wildcats. Remember that was another film?
Yeah.
So I think, was it Frank Launder? Who was I think Frank Launder and Reg McLean, who wrote this, are in some trouble with the tax office.
Right.
Or had some difficulty with organised labour.
Makes total sense. So this guy, the cop, confronts Warren, the kid brother, and is like, hey, you better come clean. This isn't an American movie, pal. Hey, he says, as if he's in an American movie.
Well, bizarrely, I noticed that. You know, like, Warren says, I'm not interested in pressing charges so you can just piss off. And the cop says, well, we're not in America. The state presses charges, mate.
Yeah.
Not you. And I'd actually written down, because I'd gone off half-cocked. I'd written down, press charges, this isn't America, this is Australia.
Yeah.
And then we actually got a line of dialogue about it.
Right.
Yeah, so far so good. Except later on, as if this speech didn't happen, Jim talks about pressing charges.
Right.
So what the
Yeah.
There's an explanation for some of this stuff.
Okay.
Which I'll get to.
Okay. Okay, so the next day, they're all hanging out on the roof.
Yep.
Of
this is the glamorous
hotel or Aunt Ellie's. Don't know what this place is. Okay, while they're on the roof, somebody sneaks up and locks the door to the roof. It's great. Meanwhile, Cowboy's out there flying his joyrides in the biplane.
We got a scene with the British head of the cartel or whatever it is, the Diamond Cartel, I think.
Yeah.
And the German assassin, where they talked about how the local blokes failed.
Right.
Now they're going to go in and finish the job.
Okay, right.
So how are they going to finish the job in the most... Well, it has to involve a plane.
Yeah.
Because this movie's called Airhawk.
Yeah.
So, while they're having breakfast up on the roof, someone comes up and locks the only door that they can use to get down. It's like a fire escape door.
Yeah.
You know, this rooftop bar is only accessible by the fire escape.
Also, the rooftop bar is only accessible to 4 people. Wouldn't anybody else come up to use it, or are they so wealthy?
I'm guessing this is Aunt Eli's place. They're slumming it in Aunt Eli's. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
Does Aunt Ellie have a bar on the roof that only she gets to use?
Yeah, why not? She's rich.
Okay, all right.
It's in surface.
Okay.
She's rich.
So there's this biplane flying around in the distance.
It's Cowboy's biplane.
It's Cowboy's biplane, and boy, it was kind of great. I kind of could sense. It's really good how it kind of builds up.
This is the best scene in the movie.
It is.
By miles. Even though they're ripping off North by Northwest, it's still pretty
sure. But the thing opens fire on the roof.
Yeah.
And then they're hiding behind chairs and stuff.
Yeah.
More funny hiding in this movie. And we get some close-ups of the lady assassin, the Hong Kong lady.
She's flying the plane.
She's flying the plane. Well, she's in the front.
Yeah, she's flying it. And Hans is behind with an automatic rifle.
Right. Oh, got it.
Which makes 2 different noises. So the biplane itself doesn't have guns mounted on it.
Yeah.
But they've just thrown 2 different kinds of sound effects in for the gun. I guess it just makes a difference.
Well, there's also a sniper across the roof.
Yes.
On another rooftop across the way.
So this is a multi-man operation.
Right, okay. By the way, the gun sound effects, like in that earlier scene in the parking garage when that guy, I think, pulls out a shotgun, really sounds like they bought some like a cap gun from Kmart, and we're just like using that for...
Well, it looks like a shotgun, and yet it fires, like 30 times a minute.
Yeah.
Like a shotgun can't fire that fast.
Yeah. Jim decides to jump off the roof to get to a lower level, because they're locked up there. He jumps down and he managed to grab the rail of the balcony below him.
It's kind of cool. It's no Die Hard, but it's still pretty cool.
He goes in, and then he's attacked by this rockabilly, who is one of the assassins because his arm is broken. And this guy's an amazingly bad actor, too. But watchably bad.
Hilariously bad.
Hilariously bad. Like, he's so over the top trying to create this rockabilly assassin guy.
Yep.
As if he's in Wild at Heart or something.
I love it how this is a guy who's been arrested for attempted murder. And Jim's like, what are you doing here? And he says something like, have you heard of bail?
Have you heard of bail? So
can you just bail out on attempted murder?
On the day after? It's the morning after, right?
Yes.
It's like that. It's been less than 12 hours.
Yeah.
They're up on the roof and they're like, bail this guy out. He's had a murder. They've already had the judge has already had the trial to set the bail amount. Crazy. But here's the crazy part.
Yes.
Jim beats him up.
Yes.
Starts running up the stairs. He's knocked the guy out. He starts running up the stairs, and then he runs back in a comedy bit to beat the guy up again while he's down. Fine. Would be funny in any other movie. Those girls and his brother are upstairs being fired at with machine guns on the roof.
Yep.
Your priority is to get up. Don't get up there and unlock the door. Why is he running back to beat up this guy?
Well, there's more. Because next, the bailiff arrives.
Yeah.
With his demand that he pay his taxes.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a hilarious sequence, I guess.
Yep.
That goes nowhere.
Yep.
You know, Jim doesn't even try to punch him out. He just turns his... Like, the bailiff sort of, he's like a fat little man.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta pay your taxes, Jim.
Yep.
Ah, don't you try and get away from me. You know, meanwhile, Jim's just been in a life or death struggle with a hoodlum.
Yes.
Who now comes after him with a chainsaw.
Yes.
Where
did the chainsaw come from? Where did the chainsaw come from?
Where the fuck did this chainsaw come from?
The rockabilly show. Yes. Or Aunt Ellie.
Or does Aunt Ellie have him lying around in her living
room? It's in the hotel amenities, if that's where they are in a hotel. I don't know, but it is crazy that this guy...
It's even more out of nowhere than the tax rant. He just comes around the corner with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
How could he... Yeah. It's like he just pulled it out of hammer space.
Crazy, yes. 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 Absolutely crazy. So finally Jim unlocks the door. The thing he should have done in the first place, as soon as he knocked that guy down, unlock the door, get these people to safety. They're being fired out with machine guns, Jim.
Yeah.
You dummy. Okay, so finally the cop shows up again. He's like, I really know something going on now, because we've had machine guns fired out of an airplane. And the guy's like, Warren's like, hey, I don't know why they want me. I don't know. This is half the movie. He's going, I don't know.
Warren's
I didn't do anything
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on. I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, so Warren's girlfriend, we have to give her a name. I don't know what it was, Debbie or something.
Debbie sounds good.
Let's call her Debbie. She seems like a Debbie. She's like, I'm going to go back to Doolongal.
She's not feeling safe.
Yeah.
She wants to get back to the Outback station.
She's been fired at on a roof, and Jim, instead of coming to the rescue, decided to go back and kick the guy who was down.
Yeah, and argue about his
here.
taxes and get in a chainsaw fight. She says, well, she already gave Warren back his necklace, which was smart of her.
Yes.
And now she's like, well, she apparently spent her whole life at this property.
Yeah.
And now she just wants to go back.
Yeah.
So let's say, fine, we'll all go. We'll all go back and we'll stay there. We'll hunker down until this all blows over.
Right. Okay. So Warren says, "Oh, I'll join you there," and she's like so happy about this. I thought just really.
Yeah, you already gave him back the necklace.
No issue with this guy. She thinks the problem is Surfer's Paradise. The big city is the problem.
Yeah, it's not
Warren.
Clearly shady guy that cannot explain his behavior.
People are trying to kill this man, and you're like, okay, come with me. And of course, they do follow him out to the property.
Yes. We get some real rough cuts, which I think is where the ad breaks were.
Right. Yes, I assume that too.
Yeah.
So they go back to the AHC office. The office lady is really upset about them going out to this farm. She's like, you need a chaperone out there. Like, she seems to be afraid these kids are going to screw these grown-ass adults.
Who are in their 30s?
Yeah.
Weird.
Okay.
I mean, completely
Weird
apropos
scene.
of nothing.
Weird scene.
Again, because we're setting up this character. I don't know if she's in the comics, but we're clearly setting up a character for our series that's never going to
Right.
get off the ground.
Yes, that's right. Recurring character, the receptionist.
Our Miss Moneypenny.
Yes, you're absolutely right. By the way, she also complains about Cowboy in the scene because Cowboy's going to take over the jobs while Jim is away at the farm.
Yeah.
And he says he's my best pilot. We get a real cliched speech. He's the best pilot I've ever known. And also, we flew together back in the days when there were machine guns on those wingtips.
In Vietnam, I suppose?
Yes, has to be, yeah. Yeah, crazy speech. Okay. Now we get a title card which says, in the fierce Australian outback. By the way, on this shot, this is not a shot of Arrakis, by the way. This is a shot of a homestead, surrounded by foliage.
Yeah,
this is not the fierce Australian. Much like Mystic East. The Far East, the Mystic East. This fierce Australian outback looks like a place you'd want to spend a weekend.
Yeah, it's a nice kind of like squatters' property in regional regional Queensland.
Yeah,
so it's some actual kind of like outback station in Queensland, in a nice kind of like well vegetated part of the country. This is not the Gibson Desert.
Yeah.
Which is name dropped in one of the stories.
Right.
You know, this is not the red dust kind of places that you get in Northern Australia. Yeah. This is just lush kind of like
so
Queensland.
Funny that they put the title. They don't need to have that title card. Yeah. You can just see that they've reached the station.
Yeah, they're in the bush.
Come on. Yeah. So strange. Okay, now we meet the mom.
Because it's for, like, as you pointed out, like this, there's some overseas. They want to sell this stuff overseas.
Oh yeah. Yes. Okay, that's true.
We need to explain it for some South Africans or whatever this is,
got it.
whoever they want to sell this to.
Yeah. So we meet the mom here, who I liked very much.
Great character.
As I said before, good actress. Managed to sell her lines, you know.
She's lived on this property all her life as well.
That's right. She's had this garden that she's tended, my own garden that she's tended for 55 years.
Yep.
She says. And then we get a shot of each and every character getting on a horse, one by one. Nobody is left out. All 4 characters get on. It's like they're forming Voltron. It's so strange.
Very good.
That we have to see all 4 of them get onto horses and ride around. We get a lot of horse riding, as you said at the top. Yeah. There's way more horse riding.
So we're only about halfway through the movie now.
Yeah.
And this is where the horse riding segment of the movie starts.
Yes. We get into the homestead. There is a very important shot where, as they're entering, we see on the wall there's a display that has 2 shotguns.
Yep.
I was like, oh, those are Chekhov's shotguns.
They are literally Chekhov's guns, yes.
Yeah.
They so are.
I was like, those better come down by the end of the movie, and sure enough, they were down.
They sure do, it's great.
Yeah. Okay, now we get lots of walk around on the farm. Some very long, lingering shots of cattle. Very long. The camera just stays there to make sure we can see that these people are looking at... There's a shot of hay. There's not even any moving creatures. There's a shot of hay. Just hay in a field.
Yep.
Trees aren't even really moving around or anything very much. Strange. Very strange.
The grizzled police detective sergeant calls them.
Yes.
He announces that they know that foreigners bring money into the country. And in fact, they found an account with something like $3 million in it, or possibly more.
Yes.
And they said that he said he's going to need an explanation for that
he
money.
tells this to Jim.
Yes, Jim, not Warren, yeah.
Yeah, he's on the phone with Jim, and he's like, Jim, your brother's actually doing shady stuff. He's got all this money. It must be drugs. Jim's like, I don't believe that.
Jim, I think... Well, he doesn't say it must be drugs. He says, you know, your brother's been going to Hong Kong. He's gone 15 times in the last 12 months.
What's small and worth that much money?
In Hong Kong.
And Jim says, I don't think it's drugs. And he's like, look, Jim, your brother's up something.
It's actually a pretty okay bit of dialogue.
It is, but then he's like, all right, bye-bye. They hang up. Jim goes in to have dinner with the others. The phone rings, and it's the cop again. He goes back into the room with the phone, gets back on the phone, and continues the conversation. Why not just talk? Can't we all pack this into one conversation? But we learn, I guess, in a very awkward way, that the rest of him can hear this whole conversation.
Yeah.
By the way, the assassins are already
They're waiting outside, waiting for.
No, they're driving up. They're driving up in a jeep. They've got a big machine gun. The German guy, Hans, has a machine gun. He wants to do this messy. This is where I learned he was German, because he's eating sauerkraut in the jeep.
This is meant to be funny. He's eating bratwurst and sauerkraut, and we get some hilarious dialogue where he talks about his uncle ate it all his life.
His uncle ate and then died at 43. He was hit by a truck. Really... It's supposed to be funny. She's like, whenever she says, we'll kill him quietly, she actually is like a cartoon villain. Like, she's so delighted with the idea of killing somebody.
Yep. We get a bait and... Well, okay, again, Warren spends 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes talking about how it's not drugs. He'll explain it all.
Very interesting... Actually, this movie constantly, sometimes, would do a thing which I found was interesting and then deflate it. Would cancel it out with something else. He goes into this thing about how he's actually doing legit business in Hong Kong.
Oh, right.
And it's quite interesting, where he talks about how people are trying to evacuate their capital because they're worried about the takeover.
Yeah, this goes nowhere.
It goes nowhere, but you think it's like a legit way, and you think there's actually some geopolitical stuff going on here where people are worried about the takeover, which is 17 years away at this point.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, so I'm just basically funneling capital out of Hong Kong, taking a little bit off the top, skimming legally as a fee.
He says he's found a dodge to get... Because there's a limit to how much money you can bring into Australia without being taxed or to invest it. And he sort of spins this very elaborate way. Again, like you say, it doesn't go anywhere. There could have been something interesting about, as you said, geopolitics or something here, or about what's the nature of loyalty or patriotism. No, it just goes nowhere. Instead, he just says, "Oh, look, I found a dodge. I can get..." He doesn't explain what that dodge is, because there isn't one. But he says, "I've been able to get people in Hong Kong who want their money out of Australia. I've been able to get it into Australia. Out of Hong Kong, I've been able to get it into Australia, take a bit off the top, while avoiding the authorities."
Yeah.
it's not illegal, but it's questionable in some.
He says it's not illegal, and then Jim says, "But is it moral?"
Yeah.
And Warren says, "You don't pay taxes."
Yes, and he says that's different.
And I thought, okay, now we're going to get some. Is there going to be a measure of complexity about the moral issue of him dodging his taxes and this guy?
He just says that's different, and then Warren just says, I'm investing in people. I'm the good guy here. The money I bring in is paying for things.
Right. But it turns out it's none of this anyway.
No, that goes nowhere.
Since it's none of that, how does that... Doesn't that deflate the thing about the taxes as well? Like the whole
it just
thing
goes nowhere. Nowhere.
It's just another big lie. It's just more. It's more. Like I said, a third of this movie is Warren trying to convince us that he hasn't done anything wrong. So this is another 3-4 minute scene where he's trying to convince us that he's not doing anything.
And I'm trying really hard to follow, because I thought this might be important, so I was trying really hard to follow what they were talking about.
Yes, me too.
And it might as well not have been in the film, because in the very next scene, Warren goes out on a horse again, out to a cave on the property.
Yeah.
And Jim follows him. We see Jim riding a horse. We see Warren riding a horse.
Yeah.
They're riding horses.
Yeah.
There's this really long sequence where they're riding horses. Jim follows Warren into the cave.
And he thinks the drugs are hidden there.
Yes,
Jim is like...
Well, because we've been hearing about drugs all along. Then Warren's got him at gunpoint.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Where's the drugs, Warren?" But it's not drugs.
Yeah.
It's diamonds.
Yeah. Diamonds in the cave.
Diamonds in the cave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just sitting there. He can just grab them out with his hands. They're just lying around there.
That's
he
not a thing.
thinks there's like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of diamonds.
Hundreds of millions of dollars worth of diamonds.
In this cave.
In a cave. It's
one cave.
Yes. Yes.
Not in the region, one cave.
I don't know a lot about diamond mining.
Yeah.
Australia does have some... Australia had the most productive diamond mines in the world in the 90s.
Okay.
But they're in special kinds of geographical features, right?
Yeah.
They're in like volcanic tubes.
Yeah.
Because they need to be brought up from the deepest part of the earth.
Yeah.
I don't think they're just in caves.
No. No.
I don't think that's a thing.
No. If that was a thing, De Beers would have completely emptied those mines. If you just walk in and grab them... this is...
How do they get up there? Yeah, I'd say...
They're just growing out of the walls of this cave.
Yeah, it's a magic cave. It's like Aladdin's cave with diamonds in it.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to dig for them. They're hanging like fruit.
Yes. Yes.
You pick the diamonds.
You pick the diamonds, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
So then we get a story. Okay, here's where now things start to really fall apart. So, so Warren explains to Jim that he was hired as a mineral prospector to look at this property.
Yeah.
The property of his girlfriend. Did he already meet the girl at this point? We don't know. Who knows? But some company, a shale oil company, owns the mineral rights to this property.
That her family has owned for 120 years.
Not the family doesn't own the mineral rights somehow.
But they've owned the property.
They own the property, but not the mineral rights. But they've mortgaged it. Can you own a property and not own them? I don't know.
Seems strange.
It's weird.
Yeah.
He's been asked to look for shale oil. Do you look for shale oil on pasture land? Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. But he's gone into this cave, he's found the diamonds, he's not told the company about it.
Yeah.
He's instead come up with, he says, if I tell the company about it, I collect my paycheck, then what? They make hundreds of $1 million picking diamonds in the diamond cave. No. Instead, he came up with the idea to take the diamonds and sell them in Hong Kong.
Right.
That's what he's been doing. And he's been selling them cheap.
Right.
Below, like, the rate.
Market price,
and he's been undercutting De Beers.
Yeah.
And now De Beers are pissed.
Right. So these assassins are from De Beers.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Got it. I was like, at the end of the movie, I was still like, I don't know who these assassins are or what they're angry about.
Yeah. Bad British accent lady works for De Beers.
She should have had a South African accent or something. Might have made it.
I don't think she could do one.
No.
Cecil Rhodes was born in the UK, I guess.
Okay. Okay, so now the assassins are about to show up. That night... Oh, yeah, Warren proposes to Debbie.
Yeah, and he also... Okay, here we get some more weird stuff. As a betrothal gift, I suppose,
yeah,
he says that he will buy the property. because we know it's mortgaged, right? And they haven't been making their payments for 6 months. This is important.
Yeah.
He promises, he's got a contract.
Yeah.
He's signing it. Okay, great. Happy ending.
Yep.
Then we get a long sequence of him getting out of bed the next morning.
Yep.
And a very confusing shot of him interspersed with scenes of Jim going to a table, picking up a glass, and then falling down and dropping the glass.
Yes.
He's dead.
I thought he was poisoned as I was watching it, but that's not the case.
No, I had to watch... Well, we don't know that he's stabbed. We have to be told through dialogue that he was stabbed.
Yes,
because we don't see it.
That's right, we don't see it.
I thought he was poisoned too. And in fact, I kept going back. I went back and watched the earlier scene with Hans and De Beer's lady, where she says she wants it done quiet.
Yeah.
Not with the machine gun.
Right.
And then she drops something in his hand. And I thought, oh, is that the poison? But then he eats whatever it was. It's like, oh, okay, that's not poison.
Oh.
So this, again, that goes nowhere.
Right.
So he's dead.
Yeah.
Jim finds him. He's very upset. Checks his pulse. He's dead. He doesn't identify how his brother died.
Yeah.
I guess he doesn't have a hugely obvious stab wound.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's not like bleeding out on the floor.
Yeah, wouldn't there be blood?
Right.
Oh God, my brother's been stabbed. There's blood everywhere.
But the assassin, Hans, is hiding behind a chair.
Yes. He's hiding in the room.
In the room. He's just behind a chair in the middle of the room.
What was he doing there?
And it's not even like a chair with a full back. Like, you can see him there.
It's like a regular chair. It's not an armchair.
No, it was the strangest
it's like
choice.
A dinner chair, you know. So weird. What's he doing there? Anyway, then there's a fight. This world-class assassin...
Yeah.
He's not crying Freeman.
No.
Because he sucks. He gets the shit beat out of him by Jim.
Yeah. Very weird fight, too, because the brother's body is in the shot in the background the whole time. It's so strange seeing this dead body lying there while this guy's beating up Hans. But then the De Beers lady comes in with a gun.
Yes.
But then Debbie's mom shows up with one of those shotguns. One of the Chekhov's
shotguns.
And points it at the De Beers lady. But then reveals that she...
Well, first of all, we got this whole contrived thing. Fingerprints.
Right. Okay.
So Jim announces that they're going to get fingerprints.
Yep.
Where from?
The glass. The poisoned glass. Which was not poisoned.
Yeah, it wasn't a poison glass. And we have no murder weapon. We don't even know he's stabbed at this point. But Jim's talking about fingerprints. He wants to get to the radio and call the cops so the cops can take fingerprints.
Okay.
So the radio's been sabotaged, we think, by the assassins.
Right.
They have shortwave radio on the property. Yeah. No phones. No mobile phones in the early 80s, no telephone out in this outback property. But Jim says, that's all right. I have a phone in my... I have a radio in my plane.
Which is often a plot line in Tailspin Tommy and these Airhawk stories.
Yes, they often needed to get
We need to get to the plane for the radio.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Now, at this point, Mum panic. No, first of all, the assassins say... Gus holds up his hands. He's wearing leather gloves. He's like, fingerprints? Have you really thought this through?
I'm an expert assassin.
Yeah.
I hid behind a chair. I was found the second after the killing.
And then Mum panics.
Right.
Right? She says, I didn't think about the fingerprints.
Yeah.
It's revealed that she killed Warren.
Right.
Which we get all this through dialogue.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a big tense revelation, but I was just playing catch-up the whole time.
Yes. So I still don't know why she killed...
She killed Warren.
And I don't know why the assassin was hiding in the room.
Yeah.
If he was the one that killed
Well, his assassination... That I can explain, I think. The assassin's in the room because he was there to assassinate Warren, but he was beat to it.
Yeah.
He was beat to it by Mum.
Yeah.
Now, here's where we get our plot hole the size of the Grand Canyon. Mum has killed Warren for two reasons, it seems. One, because he's pulled out of the diamond. She was the person he was talking to on the phone in the hotel room.
Ah.
She's his partner that he was selling diamond for.
Okay, got it.
She's pulled out because she's killed him because A, he was trying to get out of the deal where they were selling the diamonds on her property. Mm-hmm. And B, because he'd last night proposed to Debbie, who she apparently hates.
Yeah.
She calls her an idiot girl.
That idiot girl, yeah.
And had bought the property under her with the $20 million he had made selling diamonds in Hong Kong.
Okay.
Okay, alright, let's unpack this. So she was his partner in selling the diamonds. Why? I suppose because
it's her property.
It's her, but she doesn't own the mineral rights to it.
Okay, but it doesn't matter.
The shale oil company owns the mineral rights.
Yes, but we're not telling the shale oil company that.
Okay, so maybe this isn't told. We're not told this. Okay, so but maybe she told Warren about the diamonds. Maybe she knew they were there all along.
Yeah, or he found them and he told her, he's like, let's keep this from the company.
Why do it illegally then? Like.
Right.
Also, these aren't in the ground. They're in a... Why the shadiness? Why the illegality?
Well, because they want the hundreds of millions. They don't want 20 million.
But she just wants to save her property.
Right.
Okay, so... Yeah, so he's been selling diamonds. How have they been... They're partners. How have they been splitting the money?
Good question.
He's made $20 million.
So let's say she's made $2 million. Let's say it's
he's made... It was a 90... What it was a 90-10%.
The reason I'm saying 90-10 is because even if she got $2 million, that should be enough to buy this property.
It should be enough to make her mortgage payments.
That's right. Exactly.
She's 6 months behind.
Yes.
He's been flying to Hong Kong for 12 months.
Yeah.
She should have enough money to make her mortgage payments.
Yeah.
None of this makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
From start to finish, it just does not make sense.
Yes. Agreed. So she killed him because
because she hasn't made enough money to buy her property back or even make her payments.
But she's going to get to live on the property with her daughter. He's just going to be the owner of it. And what difference is that between that and the bank owning it?
Yep.
Why would she kill this guy? Yep. She didn't kill the bank.
Yeah. Why didn't she stab?
Why didn't she murder the bank?
Also, what was her?
For owning her property and her garden that she's kept for 55 years.
She said she can't imagine someone else having that garden, but you're going to live on the. He bought the property with the intent to live on it with her.
He's not going to take over the garden
as his mother-in-law, who he loves, and certainly they all love her.
Yeah, I loved her.
Yeah, it's just
what
the hell is going on? Crazy.
Yeah, really, really crazy stuff. Okay, so now we get a big chase.
Yes. Now we have to get to the radio.
Now it's a chase to the radio.
Why?
On horseback. Some people are racing on horseback to the plane. Other people are in farm equipment.
Hans and De Beers lady are in. Yeah, what's with the farm equipment?
That was used to block the. Somebody was in a farm equipment in a thresher to block the Jeep from getting off the property.
Yes. So one of the goodies was in the harvester, the combine harvester.
Yeah.
And actually runs over Hans with it.
Yeah.
We see him run over.
Right. That's right.
But after a cut, he's back in the Jeep and he's fine.
He's fine. He just got back in. He's fine a couple of times. In fact, coming up, he's going to be blown up, and he'll be fine.
But if I could wind back, they need to get to the radio, and it's very important that Hans and De Beers stop them from getting to the radio. Why? Why do Hans and De Beers even care? They haven't committed any crimes.
Right.
Aside from maybe breaking and entering. Hans maybe illegally.
I don't even think they broke. I think
trespassing.
Trespassing. Yeah.
So they really, really need to stop Jim from getting to his plane to radio in.
I guess they hired the previous hitman.
Well, there's no proof of that.
No, there's no proof. There's no fingerprints on that. That's for sure.
No, there's no reason why they would care about them getting to the plane and radio. In fact, they should be happy for them to do it because when they radio it in, then it's Mum that's going to take the rap.
Yeah. By the way. To rewind a little bit, when Jim beat up Hans and the De Beers lady came in, she says to him, "Can you stand?" Like he's been being within an inch of his life by this pilot who just beats the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
This guy can't even stand up. He's like, "Can you stand?" He's like, "Yes, I can stand up." Okay, so it's a big chase. They get to the airfield. Jim and Janet and Debbie get into the plane, and they start to take off, and they're being followed by the Jeep. The Jeep runs into a bunch of barrels of gas that are in the middle of this field. It's an empty, imagine an empty field. Imagine the outer space, and there's a single star out there. And this Jeep runs straight into these things and blows up.
Yeah.
And you think
Hans and De Beers lady are dead now, yeah.
Nope. Hans gets out, shakes his fist at the sky, and says, "I'll get you, Airhawk." Wow.
He's shirtless, he's covered in soot.
Yep. he survived this explosion.
Shaking his fists.
For some reason, they couldn't veer around these 3 oil barrels in the middle of an empty field. Crazy. What were they doing there in the first place? Why were these barrels in this field? Okay, he shakes his fist, and then Airhawk basically looks down. He looks at the camera. He looks right into camera and smiles, and it freeze frames on him smiling into camera. And then we get a credit which says based on the cartoon series created by John Dixon.
Yep. Incredible.
Okay, did you find out anything about this movie?
Yeah, there's actually quite a... Well, not a huge amount.
Okay.
No, not a huge amount.
All right.
There's some sources about it, like Ozflix and websites like that.
Okay.
But even they're hurting for... They're hurting for detail as well.
Right. Okay.
They've tried to look around like I...
Okay.
They've done a harder job.
Do we know any of these people, the production or the actors?
Yes, I can talk about... Okay. As I mentioned, our headliner is a nobody.
Yeah.
We get some supporting actors who are mainstays of Australian TV of the period, who are clearly hoping that this would turn into to steady work for them as an Airhawk TV series. Wasn't to eventuate. The film was produced by a company called Ron McLean Productions. Okay. So Ron McLean is the author, the writer, of the screenplay.
Okay.
And I'll talk a little bit more about him in a minute. The Queensland Film Corporation kicked in some money as well as this film production company. As for the budget, no idea, but low.
Yeah.
Really low.
Yeah, they had to pay for that logo.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And as I mentioned earlier, it's not known when it first aired.
Okay.
Well, that is these people looking it up in the...
Do we know what channel it was on or anything like that?
Probably Channel 9.
Okay.
Yeah. Ozflix says, this site is always on the lookout for the worst Australian telemovie of all time. There's some fierce competition, but Airhawk Star of the North certainly sets a high, low bar and is very competitive.
Yeah.
He mentions some of the television names doing their cameos. He says, a couple of reliable television names. Lois Ramsey as the secretary, Maya de Groot as Aunt Ellie, and Margaret Christensen as the shotgun-wielding psycho. Presumably hoping for a reliable series gig, but none of them can distract from the inertness of the leads.
Yeah.
However, this is Ozflix guy, he goes on to say, the cast can't really be blamed. The low-budget, obvious tight shooting schedule, a lame script, feeble action, and by-the-numbers direction leaves them with little to do but prance around as warm props.
Well, I think Mom did something with the lines she was given.
Well, yeah, she's all right. Yeah.
And I think
she's a television. That's Margaret Christensen. She's like a TV actor.
See, I'm not sure if it's all just the script. I think the acting is genuinely bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. From our four leads, 100%. Yeah.
And every like the rockabilly guy, like every single person was like the band at the Aero Club, like Cowboy, all four assassins. Boy, it was so wooden. Yeah. Anything else there?
Yeah, okay. That's pretty much it for the film.
Were you going to say something about the cop giving that speech about American... This isn't America. Was there something about that?
Yes.
Did you have an explanation about that?
Well, why there was a contradiction between that and the later line.
Yeah.
It's because I think of the unique qualities of the author of the screenplay.
Okay.
The writer of the screenplay. This is a guy called Ron McLean. He has an interesting story. Okay. There's a whole article about him on a website called Film Inc., an Australian website, called Forgotten Australian TV Writers, Ron McLean. Okay, so Ron McLean, a guy that came to TV writing with no background in writing whatsoever. Uh-huh. He was running a shoe shop, apparently in Sydney, when he read a newspaper article about a TV show being filmed in Australia called Riptide, but with American writers.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Riptide.
Yeah. He said, he thought, wow, that looks like fun. So he sent off a few scripts to the production company that was making Riptide. Uh-huh. They accepted his scripts. He ended up writing for Riptide. Uh-huh. And within 2 years, no bullshit, he was a leading writer for television in Australia.
Huh.
And by 1975, he was probably the highest paid screenwriter in Australia for television. And, according to this article, among the 10 most highly paid in the world.
Wow.
He was making 6 figures in the mid-70s.
Wow.
Working for Grundy. So Grundy Productions is a company that originally made its money in doing quiz shows, doing the local version of like Wheel of Fortune.
Okay.
It made a shitload of money doing that. Then in the 70s they moved into like
dramatic television.
Yes.
Okay.
Dramas. So, writing Ron McLean, he wrote everything.
Yeah.
Cop shows, comedies,
Okay.
sitcoms, family dramas,
Okay.
hospital dramas. He even wrote for a show called The Flying Doctors.
Okay.
Everything you can imagine. He was a hack writer.
Yeah.
But in the original, more positive sense of the word, right?
Right.
In the sense that he wrote quickly,
Yeah.
he wrote reliably,
Yeah.
he wrote prolifically, and he wrote for money.
Right.
You know, he turned out scripts that were economical and could be shot on a budget.
Got it.
You know, he was like a titan. Forgotten now,
Yeah.
because he was a hack. So he's
Yeah.
turning out work that was great for the day,
Yeah.
but not something that's going to last down the ages, right? Like Rod Serling, he apparently dictated his scripts.
Huh. Okay.
Like, he didn't write them down.
Okay.
He could write a script for a half hour of television in a day
Wow. Okay.
by dictating it into a tape recorder.
Right.
Incredible. However, by the late 70s, he wrote a cop show that flopped
Okay.
called Bellamy, and Grundy cut him loose. At that point, he set up a production company named after himself, Ron McLean Productions, which made this film and
Right.
2 others, all low budget, all for TV, and all of which he wrote. And the problem here, I think, and this is why the film, I think, is really rough, is because I think he was probably brilliant at writing for half an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But this is 90 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
This would have
More
been...
moving parts.
100%. I think this would have been a really great 30 minutes of TV for some show, right?
Yeah.
For the Flying Doctors.
Yeah.
Or for the eventual show that this was going to become.
Yeah.
The main story beats, without all that shit about, all that filler with Warren
Yeah.
explaining himself,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the action sequences chopped right back.
Yeah. The
And
phone call that's cut into 2.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That's just weird. Yeah.
I think this was a guy that had a very specific skill set,
Yeah.
which was cranking out very filmable screenplays for half an hour of TV. The author of this article even said, "I wonder how good a writer McLean could have been with a few more drafts as part of his creative process." Because he would just turn it out, a first draft, and that was it, done, one and done. Because a person can write a script in a day, as McLean could, and regularly would, doesn't mean they should.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having said that, this guy, pretty admirable, actually, I think, ultimately. He died very young.
Okay.
In 1983, having only just turned 40.
Cocaine.
No, he was probably an alcoholic.
Okay.
No, cocaine was not involved.
Okay.
Despite his... That would be interesting, given his very strong stance on drugs in this movie.
Yeah.
By his own estimate, he had written more than 450 hours of Australian television.
Look, usually when a writer or a musician is churning out that much material, touring that hard, it's usually cocaine, but okay, alcohol.
He apparently would work 6-7 days a week,
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
You know, like 10, 15. The article even says 20 hours.
Wow.
Yep. In a career that spanned only 14 years,
Yeah.
because he was a shoe shop owner or shoe shop manager in his late 20s.
Yeah.
14 years later, he'd written something more than 500 hours of Australian TV,
Jesus.
arguably, and then was dead
Wow.
shortly after his 40th birthday. So he was
Wow.
only just over 39.
Wow. Okay. That was really up and down. That was a roller coaster. It was a water slide with some special effects.
Indeed.
Is what that was.
Indeed.
Should we go to votes?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay. This comic. Wow. I want to say yay to the first storyline, the hijackers one, and it sounds like the later ones were good as well.
He's got a formula and it works, right?
Yeah.
It's hard. It's still very formulaic.
Okay.
There's not a huge amount to differentiate it from Tailspin Tommy.
Yeah.
I think what makes it different is...
well, the art's better.
It's subject. Okay,
and
the art is
there's a better
objectively
flow
better.
from strip to strip.
That's
and
true
the
too.
Story, the narrative is better.
And there's a lot to appeal to a local audience. By that I mean an Australian audience.
Agreed.
It's kind of like rock solid in terms of its slang. It doesn't feel forced.
Yeah.
The art's great.
Yeah.
The Outback feels like a real place.
Yeah. Yeah. All that stuff.
You know, it's a player. It's a factor in the stories. They're often, as you pointed out, short of water.
Yeah.
Or the landscape is an enemy.
Yeah.
It feels real, and there really aren't many. There aren't many. I doubt there are any other comics
Yeah.
where the Australian outback, Northern Australia, the Northern Territory, Northern Queensland, Northern WA are presented as real places.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a yay for me with all the reservations that I made earlier in the full review.
Yeah, I think I voted nay for Phantom and nay for Tailspin Tommy, I think. But I think I'd tip over to a yay for this one.
All right.
Just purely out of, I suppose, jingoism.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, the movie...
it's a complete disaster.
It's so bad.
Worse than Veronica?
I was going to ask that next. Is it worse than Veronica? I think this comparison is never really fair, because Veronica's so bad that it's like you would show it to people. You got to watch this movie. You'd recommend it. You might watch it again with a few beers or something, like, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
There's something strangely fun about how awful and incompetent Veronica is.
Yeah.
This had moments where it seemed like it was on the right track, like the Hong Kong speech is like, oh, this guy's thought about how the mechanics of this.
That's right.
And then it just kind of goes.
There are all these elements that are semi-competent, but they're mashed together in this.
Or imagine like an actor that could ad-lib having the cowboy role, like that would know how to
pretend
turn
to be
the script into something good.
Yeah, not just some Aussie bloke in aviators slurring his way through a terrible Texan accent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's awful. It's awful. And it,
so it is worse. I think it's worse than Veronica.
Oof.
Although it has moments of competence which Veronica does not have.
That's true. Yeah. Veronica is such a... God, we always just come back to... We always talk so much about Veronica. Veronica is such a spectacle because of how bad it is from start to finish and how incompetent it is from start to finish, right? Yeah. This has flashes of competence, as you said.
Yeah.
Ron McLean knew how to write.
Yes, right. Yeah.
He was making hundreds of thousands of dollars in the 70s because he knew how to write.
Yeah.
And yet, it's such a mess.
Yeah.
And it's boring and awful.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, I paused this. It's 85 minutes. Maybe 4 times. Once to have lunch, once to empty the dishwasher, went and shaved, came back. Like, it took me probably 2.5 hours to get through the whole thing.
Also, I had to keep winding it back at parts because I didn't get what was going on.
Yeah. I didn't understand the ending until you explained it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I wound it back and watched it again.
Adaptation.
Look.
Elements are there.
Yes, elements are there.
He's a veteran. Characters have the same names. Janet.
Yeah.
This Janet is a nothing compared to Janet in the comic.
Based on the later scripts, Secret Diamond Mine and International Assassins fits like a glove.
I think they were trying to do that. I think they were trying to have the international intrigue of the comics in this, but I think he failed. But it's a nay for me because he's trying to do what the comic's doing, but he can't do it. Like the scene where it says the fierce Australian outback, it's not fierce. You're not pulling
for a strip where the outback is such a character.
Yeah.
Like, the setting is so important to the story. The fact that it's just a fairly lush Queensland cattle station or whatever it is.
Yeah.
No. But I've got a silver bullet. And for me, the simple fact is, where are the planes?
Yes.
For a film that's called Airhawk, where are the planes?
I thought that too. Why are we looking at cow? Hey, why are you looking for hay?
Horses are more... Aside from the denouement with the radio in the plane, which is completely unimportant, and I suppose the admittedly impressive sequence with the biplane.
But he's not flying it.
No, he's not flying it. Where in a story that's supposed to be about planes?
Yeah. No.
It's about horses more than it's about planes.
It's amazing how much in those Tailspin Tommy movies, they're really trying to shoehorn the planes in there.
Yes.
Let's get these model planes in there. They'll save the day somehow.
Yes.
Like, really forcing it. Here, they're like, planes? And, they've gone really far away from the royal doctors and all that stuff, too. Mm-hmm. They've tried to make a kind of Australian Magnum P.I., where he gets from place to place in a plane instead of that.
He was just cranking stuff like this out all through the 70s.
Yeah.
It's very much in his wheelhouse. But yeah, we voted yay for Tailspin Tommy because, I suppose in part at least, because of how much planes were in it. This one, a definite nay.
Yes. All right. Okay, please like, rate, review, subscribe on whatever platform you're on. You can contact us through the email address which is in the show notes, or you can send us a DM or message on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, YouTube, or Reddit. There's 2 YouTube channels. Some of you might have watched this movie. Well, it's only got 4 views, but we do have a
We probably only have 4 listeners.
That's right. Called CBMO Theater, where sometimes I am uploading a few of these things which don't exist on there. And please join our Patreon at patreon.com/comicbookamovie. Oblivion, all one word. That helps us with hosting fees, sometimes with comics and movies and things like that. Okay, next week we will be doing Regular Fellers. That's REGLARFELLERS. Nice. Regular Fellers.
Regular Fellers.
There might be an apostrophe in there. From 1941. It's only an hour long. The whole thing is on YouTube. You can find archives of the comics online. I don't really know anything about it off the top of my head. But we are kind of trying to yo-yo between the old stuff and new stuff. There's actually not that much from the old stuff left to
We've
cover.
worked our way through a lot of it.
Yeah, and Regular Fellers is, I think, the next one, like after Tailspin Tommy, on the list.